What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again. Today we're going to talk about a topic we've talked about several times here on the channel, but we're going to take a different angle at it today. Today we're going to talk about suicide prevention. Now, I've covered the topic of suicide many, many times. I've talked about my own experiences with it. I've talked about the loved ones in my life and the not-so-loved ones who've taken their own lives. And how it's affected me and how it's affected the people around me. And I'm not going to cover that ground again today, but I do want to talk about suicide prevention and what you can do. And September 10th is recognized worldwide as Suicide Prevention Day. And that's a beautiful thing because here's some statistics for you. Here in America, every year, 30,000 people take their own lives. That's here in America. That's out of 314 million people. Worldwide, someone takes their own life every 15 minutes. So the statistical chance of you being affected by suicide is very, very high. So let's talk about what causes someone to commit suicide first real quick. Suicide happens, I read this once and I believe this to be true. Suicide happens when someone's pain and misery outweighs hope. When hope is gone and there's nothing but pain left, that's when someone decides they don't want to be here anymore. And I believe that to be very accurate. I can say that because I came very, very, very close to taking my own life 3 times in my life. Once when I was a child and I was in an abusive home and I felt like there never would be a way out. Once again when I was a young adult and I felt like I would never be able to recover from all the terrible things that had happened to me and the physical pain that I was going through at the time and dealing with this body and dealing with this brain. And once again when my mother passed in 2009. In these 3 instances I came very, very close to hitting the eject button, to exiting this world. And it was because I lost hope. And it was because the pain and misery inside me had overwhelmed me. But I chose to stay here, and I chose to stay here because of hope. In several instances, I stayed here because there were people around me who cared about me, who spoke to me on a daily basis, that gave me a chance to talk to them. And that's something else I want to talk about, the Talk to Me campaign, and what the good work they're doing. But some other instances, I had hope. A long time ago, a therapist set me down, and he said, "Steve, I want you to picture your future. I want you to look 10, 15, 20 years down the road and imagine the person that you could become. Not the one you think you will become, the person you could become. What would you like to achieve? What would you like to have?" And I thought about it. I thought about a career in broadcasting, maybe radio, maybe television. And look what I have today. I thought about not being abjectly poor, not being around people who hated me and wanted to abuse me even though they were my own family. And I imagined that world, and it filled me with hope. The Talk to Me campaign recognizes Trevor Day here on September 27th. And on that day, a lot of kids are going to be wearing t-shirts that say "Talk to Me." And they're going to be putting stickers on lockers, and they're going to try to raise suicide awareness. And they're going to encourage kids, specifically kids in the lesbian, bisexual, gay, and trans community, to talk to people about what's going on in their lives, including their suicide prevention hotline, and people sign up to be counselors at their school and in their communities, and get this shit off of their chest to create hope and reduce pain. And that's great. That's great. I was very critical of that campaign when I first heard about it because it felt to me like it was nothing. And it is something. And it's better than nothing. But it's the tip of the iceberg of what you and I can achieve. Because here in America, but also worldwide, but here in America, people take their lives because, well, most commonly, unfortunately these days, it's because they feel different. Specifically, lesbian, bisexual, gay, and transvestite teens. Right now here in America, if you happen to be homosexual, you are persecuted. And I know if you're outside of the country, you don't pay a lot of attention, and you're inside of the country here, you believe, well, you're not getting the right to marry. That's not a reason to commit suicide. But it goes so much deeper than that, and it goes so much further than that. Kids are being tortured at high schools. Adults are being passed up for job opportunities. Chick-fil-A, do I need to say anything more? And people are losing hope of living without being persecuted here in America, losing hope that they could live a happy, normal life like everybody else gets to here in America, and the pain that's being created by being ostracized in the news, in the media, by the polls, and by the kids in their class, by the people at work, is increasing more and more every single day. And the Talk to Me campaign specifically focuses on kids, and I've been through some shit. I've been through some bad stuff, but I can't even begin to imagine the amount of pain that must be going through some 15-year-old kid who's terrified to tell his Christian parents that he happens to be homosexual. I can't even imagine. Of course that would drive you to suicide. So on September 27th, we're supposed to talk to the people around us. We're supposed to give them an opportunity to talk to us. And I don't just mean your immediate friends or the people that are close to you, the people in your family. Those people are important. But what about the kid that nobody talks to in class? What about that guy at work that everybody just kind of ignores? Sit down with that kid. Talk to him. Open up with him. Create some hope. Reduce some pain. And help. And if you really want to help, there's a lot more than you can do than talk to these people, than to buy a t-shirt, than to put a sticker on the wall. Because people are committing suicide here in America because they don't have access to the health care that they need to fix the problems that they're suffering from. So volunteer at your local hospital, donate a little bit to charity, pay your taxes for God's sakes. There's people who commit suicide because they don't have access to basic needs like food and water and shelter. And there are soup kitchens in your town right now. There's the Salvation Army. There are charities that will take your money. There's an opportunity for you to help here on September 27th to prevent suicide, to prevent the conditions that cause people to lose hope and prevent the conditions that cause pain. But if you do not have the compassion to volunteer, if you do not have the compassion to donate, at least have the compassion to be kind to someone at your school or at your work sometime in this month. Buy somebody lunch who can't afford it, okay? Talk to somebody nobody ever talks to and say hi and be nice to them. Intervene in someone's life. When you ask somebody at work as you pass them in the hallway, hey, how are you doing today? Mean it. Actually mean it. Actually want to know. Actually want to hear it. Get involved in their lives. Get involved with the people around you. Do something. But beyond all of that, if you're incapable of that, if you can't do that very simple step, then I'm going to go one more step further. The least amount of compassion I can imagine you showing. Shut the fuck up. When I go to a restaurant and I go to dinner with my fiance or I go out shopping and I have to use that little Mart cart, people stare at me and they throw slings and arrows at me and they joke and they point and they laugh. They take cell phone pictures from time to time. I'm sure I'm somewhere on people from Walmart. But to me, I'm numb to it now. I don't even care. You can say or do whatever you want to. To me, harassment just doesn't work for me anymore. But if you're the guy who's standing on a street corner saying, well, gays need to burn in hell. If you're the guy who's pointing and laughing at me, if you're making fun of the poor kid in your class, if you're making fun of the rich kid in your class who's a little socially awkward, if you're the person who's playing pranks on the guy at work who's just a little shy or a little quiet or a little weird, at the very least, could you stop doing that and shut the fuck up? Because when you cause someone to take their own life, and you do when you do this stuff, when you do destroy hope, you do create pain, you're not just affecting that person. You're affecting everyone who ever loved that person. something else about suicide that a lot of people don't realize, and what kept me alive, is that suicide is the transference of the pain that you feel onto everyone that ever cared about you. It's taking the burden off of your chest and giving it to them. Because they have to live through the rest of their lives wondering if they could have helped, wondering if they could have intervened, wondering if they could have changed things or fixed it. And you will get to enjoy that guilt too one day. So, please, not just this month either. Not just because it's trendy. Not just because you like the way that Talk to Me t-shirt works. The rest of your life, every day, shut the fuck up and make a difference.